If you ask most young people what's their objective in life, just like myself too, when I was young, 20 or 30 years ago, what I want is basically to have a good career and try to get as much money as possible, try to enjoy life, and probably along the way you help your family or other people's, if you still remember to help them. But as you age and as you grow older, you started seeing some of your friends, fell very sick. Some even have passed away, like some of my friends. You started to realize that health is more important than wealth or money. You start to appreciate your health better. You go cycling, you go jogging, you eat healthy food. You try to strike a work-life balance between health and money. But if you're really lucky enough to be living in your old age, probably in your 60s, 70s or 80s, at that time you start to realize that no matter how much you take care of your health, your health will fade away. You cannot reverse or stop the aging process. You'll get sick, and at that time, what some old people say, you appreciate companionship better. You appreciate your friends to be around you. You appreciate your children, and of course the companionship of your grandchildren. But later in life, as you age, or at the very last day of your life, just like what Steve Jobs says, if today were to be the last days of our life, would we want still to do what we are about to do today? So to me, this is quite a profound question. It's just like, it's not to say that all those money, health and friendship is not important, but to me, having this sense of the end, and everything that whatever money, health and friendship must follow, the highest objective, the end of your life. Basically, most people reflect at that time is basically whether you have done your best, as a human being, whether you have, be the best version of you could possibly be within the resources and capacities that you have, to, of course, if possible, to benefit as much people as possible apart from your own self. It is the same concept as Islam. Basically, it is called inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un. But it's going deeper than that, in the sense that wherever we're coming from, we should go back to the same source, or the one that created us. And Islamic perspective is basically the God. Hi, Assalamu alaikum. That's basically the English translation of may peace be upon all of you. Ni hao and banikum. My name is Sahrolnizam. Today I'm going to discuss about the purpose of life from Islamic perspective. I know this is a super deep question, but to me it's super important too as a human being. I know some people say, Shahrol, why should even bother asking about this kind of question? Why can't we just lead our life? We'll never the truth. Yes, but to me, the essence of being human is basically asking about this question. You cannot be living like a cattle or lamb, without having any purpose in that sense. I'll share with you three most important reasons why you should be asking about these questions of purpose of life. First is basically everything has purpose, whether we know it or not. There's this whole universe, the sun, the moon, the mountain, the seas, the rivers, even the things that we made like cars, pen, everything. It has its own function, its unique purpose, even the animals. And some we know, some we don't. So that's the thing. Have you not really asked ourselves, what is our unique purpose? What is our unique function in this life? Except to follow our lowly whim and desire. If you ask most people, they just follow. Of course, you want all this money and whatnot. That is normal. But is there anything higher than that, other than following our every whims? Because other people also following their every whim and desire. If you follow all common people around you, that's basically they're following their own desires. So they must, to me, that we are the most dominant species in this whole planet. We have driven millions of other species into extinction, into oblivion, and yet we don't have this, to me, unique, noble purpose, except for what we created, or except for what we want, which normally we tend to follow our our lowly desire in that sense. If you're not even at least stop once and reflect on this question, who we really are in that sense, Yeah, so that's the thing. There is one famous quote by a famous American writer by the name of Mark Twain. He said, there are two important days in our life. First is the day we were born, and second is the day we found out why. So part of being human is basically you have to find your own purpose. Second is basically why we have to find our purpose is many people nowadays, even before this, are unhappy. They don't really know what's their life purpose, except I don't to follow everyone around them, to follow all the bling bling, all the money trails and whatnot. So they end up feeling depressed. Some even resorted to violence, some resorted to substance abuse like alcohol, drugs and whatnot. Try to manage this problem. And the saddest thing is when they cannot control this, they committed suicide. Even among all those rich and famous people, all the celebrities, like even the young ones like the K-pop, we have heard a lot in the news where these K-pop stars they committed suicide. We have last time Kurt Cobain, the famous guitarist and lead singer of Nirvana band, and we even have like Robin Williams, the famous comedian who made all of us laugh, but deep inside he was suffering mentally. So this is the thing. To me, life as human, we're gonna have problem will come. We're gonna have problem until we die. But having this higher purpose, in certain sense, it will give you some kind of inner strength, higher purpose to weather life challenges, come what may. And lastly, to me, if you're living to your true purpose of life, to me, from my personal opinion, is that it can make this world a better place. It can give you happiness and also can makes other people life better. We'll discuss on that thing later and how I see that, but provided we have to live to your true purpose of life. But what is the truth? That's something I think all of us have to come and discuss. That is what part of being human that we discuss now. To me, no one can claim they have the truth. To me, the absolute truth belongs to whoever had made us, put us into being. So that's the thing. We're going to discuss that. From my own personal opinion, I've laid down 5 principles what should make a true purpose of life. Basically, first off, it must be universal, that everyone, anyone, no matter where they're coming from, they must have equal access to that purpose, within their range, within their means and capacity. Secondly, is basically it must, of course, it must give you peace and happiness if possible. If not, the peace, the sense of peace. And third is basically it must provide some kinds of justice. Living this world, I don't think we're gonna have any kind of sense of justice. There's no perfect justice in this world. And fourth is basically it must provide some kind of moral guidance of what is right and what is wrong, and probably a comprehensive ways of achieving our objective or our purpose in life. And last one is basically it must appeal to our reasons, and it must be logical. So that's the thing. In the next chapter, we're going to discuss what are some popular views on purpose of life. That's probably we're going to roughly test whether they meet all these 5 principles of truth, of a true purpose of life. So why I'm sharing this thing, first off, is to be very fair and honest. I've never really, thought about this question seriously and sincerely. Basically, I just lived my life and I couldn't be bothered asking about this kind of thing. But as you grow older, as you're wiser, as you be more religious, you start asking, the problems in this world, in this life. What can you do to make this world? You try to have some kind of answers into like who you really are and what you're supposed to be doing in this life, and why you are different from some other people, even why you are men and some people are women. In that sense, there's a big difference. What are the wisdom behind that? So that's the thing. So ever since I started to career more on my really true purpose and how it relates to the world around me, I thought I found my purpose and meaning to life. So it has made me more peaceful and happier. So in that sense, I want to share that happiness with as many people as possible who's willing to share or willing to discuss on this issue. Second thing is basically where I'm listening. I'll agree probably that I think it can also make, of course, your life happier if you, I don't know, or at peace. And I believe it can make this world a better place in that sense. So that's why I'm doing it. It's part of my small contributions for making this world a better place. With that, I thank you. Assalamualaikum. May peace be upon all of you, and goodbye.